I think we should get to spoilers here, Ricky Flicks and Scotty Furious. We have to get to the big reveal of this movie. So spoiler alerts. Okay, you can skip ahead to our recap of the movie auction. Check the timestamps in the description of the pod. So, guys, I want to talk about the trailer and then the big reveal. So, the trailer, I said previously, 65 to 70% of the movie, I think, was given away by the trailer. The entire motivation for me to go see this movie, aside from doing this podcast, is I'm trying to figure out why James McAvoy cut the tongue out of his son. But my issue is now the movie latches on to this concept, like you're trying to figure out why. That's it. But the movie should not tell you that the kid lost his tongue. The trailer should not tell you that the kid lost his tongue. It gave away too much in that regard. And I thought it would add to the suspense and the anxiety of like the audience if they had no idea why this kid's not speaking. But when you have in the trailer this kid chopping his fingers like this and he's unable to talk, it's like, okay, and James McAvoy's acting like a freak. You already know that he cut his tongue out and this guy's messed up. And everything's hinging on that reveal now. Guys, that reveal. I maybe I'll let you talk about the trailer first and see if it spoiled the movie for you or whatever you think. So do you think the trailer like impacted like the leniency on that final reveal, Scotty?
Yes. Yeah. I think your estimate of like 60 to 70% we got from the trailer. Yeah, 100% right there. Where the cutting the tongue out, it didn't really hit, to be honest. It's such a terrible act, and yeah, I didn't really feel much when it finally came to during the movie. And I all things considered, it didn't take away too much. I thought there was enough afterwards and the aftermath of running around the house and their kind of Home Alone-esque, the shenanigans going back and forth. I thought was enough to kind of like rebound. But yeah, I thought the more like bigger reveal was when the daughter went down into the little dungeon area with all of the like prior couples, families, belongings, and all the photographs. Was really more of like a bigger kind of shock factor.
Yeah, Ricky, do you think they put too much pressure on the scene that Scotty's talking about?
I think it just I agree with Scott. I don't know about the pressure. I think if anything, I guess yes. Sorry, I'm like thinking like through talking. Yes, I do think so because again, this is a Blumhouse. This is James McAvoy. You have all this marketing push. People like saw this movie this weekend, so you have the hit on this, the major acts here in the third act, your major moments. And for me, it just didn't because of the trailer. And it's like if you even think about like the third act and like why, like what's because obviously James McAvoy and his family, they're evil, they want to kill them, but the question is why. That is the real like twist to me because we already know they're bad. I know Scott, you said at one point maybe they weren't. That never crossed my mind. I always thought no matter a doubt.
You sucker, Scotty. You're such a sucker.
These people are either dying or they're going to get like, there's going to be an attempt on their lives. There's going to be a minimum of that. And I wanted to know why. And like, if you just narrow it down, it's like, there's not many options. Like, or you do like, you could sell them as like human trafficking. Like, I don't know. I was like trying to think like, what are we doing here? Like cannibals, like fresh? Are we doing like, I don't know. That's like kind of what I was thinking of. But like, is that a big twist? The twist should be that they're going to do something bad to these people, but we know that they already are going to do that. I don't know if that's like something I'm only thinking of, but that's why like for me, like the twist didn't really hit me hard. And like going back to the tongue thing, I agree with you both. That should be a major moment that was spoiled by the trailer. And looking back at the original, reading about it, dude, they did that on screen. The dad cut off his kid's tongue on screen. How crazy is that? Now that's like a moment that's like, oh, whoa. Like obviously we're talking about like American audience that probably wouldn't fly for like trying to make money here in America, but still like that's like a holy crap moment that we want to see. Not necessarily we want to see that, but we want to see that type of moment. And for me, we never got anything close to that.
I'm going to push back. I think the twist absolutely worked. The big reveal absolutely landed for me. It had a ton of pressure on it, but I think it delivered. Like the idea of them having all these families come, you get the idea that potentially they're going to kill these people or do something terrible, but you find out what they did to, I think the kid's name's Anne, like to have that subplot finally like have like some juice to it, and then it becomes kind of a revenge story for that one character who cannot talk. I thought it was so cool, and the movie just becomes a survival movie right after that moment. And like the suspense that builds, them in the bathroom faking like the little girl's first period, and then to have that tension, and you have those snide comments from James McAvoy, and his performance then becomes maniacal, like out in front of everybody. I thought it delivered. I loved it. I will say, I think I'm a little unclear about why they're doing it, and I don't know if it's because of the daughter, where they told the story of them having a daughter after 12 weeks, she passes away, and them having the idea of a perfect family, right? I don't know if that's true because James McAvoy his Patty is so unreliable of a person. I can't trust anything he says. But then later on in the movie, where you have Scoot McNairy ask him straight up, "Why are you doing this?" Patty then says, "Because you let us." You know, I don't know if that means he's doing it because he doesn't like the lives that these two are leaving and leading, and maybe he doesn't like their views and how like their lifestyle. I don't know why, but I was a little confused about like the straight up motive of these people. Does that make sense, Ricky or Scotty?
Yeah, I definitely find it conflicting. I think my best guess is that, I mean, they show it near the end, money. World revolves around money. They stole like, what was that, $250,000, close to that. I was looking at the phones. I couldn't
USD,
remember how much. Yeah, yeah, and but as well, I can't remember the only other the kind of like subtle hint of like kind of hunter versus hunted. And when they were out there shooting the fox, uh, McAvoy almost like spells it out that like I love it just for like the leading up to shooting the fox. Like that's why I come out here. The thrill of like hunting and knowing I'm about to shoot him.
Good
I was
call.
like, he's talking about Scoop, like he's talking about the family they're with right now. Like, and that's kind of what I got out of it. And back to the whole perfect family and the daughter. I think that was also probably just BS, because it got them out of them being kind of freaky in their bedroom with both the kids. I think that was probably just a lie, and knowing that it was all past families that the kids have been from, like their son was not their son, it was the prior families or
So
something like
messed
that.
up, dude. That was so messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm rattling through a bunch of things, but him finally screaming at the end was like just a relief off my shoulders that like he was able to get. If he's probably gonna be scarred for life, but in the moment he's past it. He got his revenge and that. So I don't know, but yeah, rattled off a couple things there, but
yeah. So Ricky, do you think it was built in well, to the story?
I loved how, Scotty, you were saying about like the hunting, like the actual like act of hunting. Like I think you're right with that, and also the money. This is their job. This is a business. They have employees. Like they have the guy. Was it Mike? They have an employee. Like this is their bit, and like they went through all the families that they've done this to. Like, yeah, this is their job. This is their business, and also like the hunting, like like his toxic masculinity. This is what he wants to do, so he's doing it. He's grabbing the world by the balls, and he's a free spirit. That's kind of how I read it. As far as also like the perfect family, I'm unsure. Like now, like making the perfect family, like they brought over the son, right? Ann, whatever, and like, maybe they do want a girl. Maybe they did like they couldn't have kids, right? And they have the reveal that the wife was freaking one of the was also like taken. Like he was like one of his first people he's taken. And leading up to it, and like the second act, Mackenzie Davis mentions like, oh, he's so much older than her. Like she does say that. And after the freaking fake period, he is looking weird, saying like, you're no longer a girl anymore, and like with a weird look. And it's like, crap, he's gonna be grooming her. That's literally was my idea. It was like, oh, it's gonna be his daughter, but then groom her. Like that kind of was my thinking.
Yeah, it's just he's so untrustworthy of a person. I don't know if we'll ever get the true root of it. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I just don't get it. But I think it's well explained with Scotty Furious that it's the purpose of the fox scene, the hunter and the hunted. Maybe it's love of the game type of thing. But I also wonder, why does he keep the kid around then? Why does he keep the boy around? Because he wants to have the perfect family, and he can't speak and he can't reveal what's actually happening. I get why you're cutting out the tongue, but why are you keeping and carrying over one kid after every time? I think he is in search of some type of family, although non-traditional. That's what's kind of sticking with me.
Definitely not traditional.
Non-traditional, I said.
I think another big thing, actually, having a child with you makes your family, your core, that much more trustworthy. If they were out there, just him and his wife, trying to get an entire family.
Dominating me today.
No, having the kid there, especially the fact that they play disabled. Up that disabled, looks so unthreatening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Damn. I will say though, like, Scott, I think you hit the two big ones, like the act of hunting and also like the family, you know. The money thing did kind of piss me off though, if like we're being honest. I wanted something bigger. I mentioned earlier a human trafficking. Like I mentioned, I wanted something like, I don't know, like a crazy moment. Like, oh, I could have never predicted that. You know, this family with this crazy Patty character who's a great vacation friend while you're on vacation, obviously not real life. But, you know, this guy that Scoot McNairy was like basically an envy of the entire time. And he goes, wow, this guy just loves his life, and I hate mine. I'm depressed. I lost my job. My wife doesn't even like love me. She's cheating on me, and she's probably gonna leave me. And my kid is freaking leaving Hoppy all over the place. I have to keep going back for it all the time. Like, I don't like my life, and I appreciate this, but for me, it's like I want to see some sort of like, oh, like this person is like a bad person, like other than just like taking families. Like we already knew that going into after the trailer. I want to know like something bigger than that, and we didn't really get that.
Now we're getting into some of the writing, and now we're in spoilers. We got to talk about this bunny, the one that the daughter of Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy, she uses it as something to cope with her anxiety. And there is a scene where the child is sleeping in bed with James McAvoy's Patty and his wife, and Mackenzie Davis walks down the stairs and sees that her daughter is in the bed. They sneak out in the night and they drive away. And then this girl, they leave the bunny behind, is kicking Scoot McNairy's seat in the road. They nearly get in a car accident, and they make the decision to turn around and go get the bunny. I hated this part of the movie just because you could do so much here, right, without using the bunny. The bunny, this would have been a great lesson learned for the kid. This is your moment if you're Scoot McNairy. This is the time where you're saying, hey, this person mistreated you. We're going to have to leave this bunny behind. We're finally going to have some separation from this thing that copes with your anxiety. You're getting older. You're maturing. But instead, they turn around and go for it. I was just thinking to myself, why don't you just have the people that drive a Tesla, why don't you just have it run out of battery? Why don't you just have them get hit by a car and them have to turn around? Or you have Patty pick them up and bring them back home so they can get a ride eventually, or whatever it may be. I think there was a way to do it, because you're just like, this goddamn effing bunny. And you're just like, get away from the bunny. That kind of pissed me off, Scotty.
Yeah. My favorite scene might have been too when it just magically appears on the roof and they have to get the ladder out to go climb up. And
did you do that?
Yeah, after the tire, they fixed the tire. They fixed the tire first, and they actually fixed the tire.
Which was, I thought, great, like thrilling action. He's holding like the drill in his hand, like testing it out, like freaking Scoot McNairy out in the garage, and fixes the tire. They're about to get back in the car, and then you almost just know, like, where's the bunny? Like, they came back once already. Like, now it's again, they're not leaving because of the same thing. And yeah, it was something. just having to climb up that ladder to get him, get the rabbit was hilarious.
Is that bunny like enough of a reason to have them turn around from such to a creepy family? That's what I'm getting at.
No.
But going back to the bunny with on the roof, that was like the moment where it's like, all right, they know, we know, you know, like we're not.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like exactly.
Get on this ladder, I'll hold you.
Right, and like this movie again, like going back to like the horror / thriller element, but the comedic like beats were so good. They were so good throughout the movie. Even like at dinner, the blowjob was wild. And then like and then like paying for dinner. It's like okay, we'll be in the car.
Oh yeah,
like,
instantly. Yep.
It's like it's easy. But you bring up the Tesla, so I have to bring this up. So I totally agree with you, Doc, when you said like you could have done something with the Tesla. And I think the Tesla was smart again because Davis, she's a vegetarian because of the climate, sustainability and climate or whatever. And like James McAvoy with the comedic timing at dinner is like, hey Mike, is the salmon good? Sustainably caught?
Yeah. Dude, he was freaking hilarious.
I was dying laughing. I was like on the floor. I couldn't stop laughing. But it made sense with the Tesla. It's like, that's why I get an EV. Makes sense. But I think this movie, more so than Leave the World Behind, which is this could be a take, is a reason why you shouldn't get an EV. Why you should not get a Tesla. Because there's no way you're going out into the middle of the woods, isolated, in this creepy old house, and there's a charging station anywhere near there. That battery would have died. Also, are Teslas bulletproof? That when Mike was shooting at him, it's like the bullets, like, what is that windshield? And finally, holy crap, they get out of the car. They get out of the car to go in the creepy haunted house. Why? Why would you do that? That was the most mind-boggling decision, I think, out of like the all yell at the screen moments. I think that one, getting out of a moving car. Why would you do that? You have the advantage. You have an advantage.
Which part was that when they got out of the car? When the house you're talking about, like
third act when Mike, they're getting the gate shuts. They're all in the car and they're driving and they just missed the gate and Mike's there shooting at them and they're backing up and they back up to the front door and they go in the house and they're basically like trapped in the house versus they could move in the car and then go around and try to find a way out.
Oh, so you're saying drive around the gate
yes,
and find a way?
Do anything else. Even like a wooden, like there's a bunch of wooden fences. Just drive over one of those bad boys at 60 plus miles an hour.
I was gonna say during that scene, like right before them pushing, Patty pushing and into the water, I was like, holy shit, here we go. Like we're gonna let this kid drown. And after that family of Scoot McNairy finding out like what this family's responsible for, I'm like, they can't turn around, dude. They have to get out of the car. They gotta save this kid, bro.
So you would have saved the kid?
Yeah, I would have. I can't let this kid drown knowing what he's been through. Like he deserves to live a life after like the struggle. Dude. And that's why the end was so satisfying when he bashes his head in, when the Ann bashes Patty's head in with that huge rock. That's when the guy next to me in the theater said that was sick. That was
when he McAvoy just goes, "That's my boy." Face smashed in.
Dude, it's funny. So watching that, like him like getting like bashing his dad or whatever, Patty's face, and then they get in the car, the Tesla, all like the two kids in the back, my wife and dad. I go, there's no chance they're adopting him now.
Mm-hmm.
Like no way. After seeing him just kill that guy, I think that you don't keep him.
Yeah.
He needs extreme therapy. He's going to need like literally decades of therapy to get over what he's been through in life.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I think before that moment, if he didn't get that revenge, shown that he wasn't a violent kid, they'll bring him in you could assume, they're bringing him in the family. I think now it's like, I'm assuming like you're up for adoption.
Yeah. Yeah. They did enough. They saved his life.
Yeah, exactly.
I did want to list a couple other funny moments from the performance of James McAvoy. Ricky talks about like the fellatio that they pretend to have at the dinner table. Them when Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis offered to pay, he said, "Thanks, I'll be in the car." Like they just turn around like immediately. But also like the constant motif of Eternal Flame, the song being played by the Bengals. It's blaring from the car. there's the one-on-one scene with James McAvoy and Scoot McNairy in the car where James McAvoy is like staring at him and singing to him, giving off such weird vibes. Then obviously you talk about an incredibly cringy scene with Cotton Eye Joe, but it's so funny how like mad he's getting at Ann for not being on beat and like not being able to communicate and him throwing bread at him. It's so cruel, but it's just like, this is the weirdest guy in the history of horror movies. Like this guy, it lines up with the psychopath that we find out he truly is. But along with terrifying, just truly, I would say one of the funniest performances of the year.
It was really funny.
It was one more moment that I only caught because of the theater environment when Scoot McNairy and his wife are kind of just relaxing in their bedroom. I think the light turns off, and you can see McAvoy like peering in through the glass circle on the door.
Is when they bring up the infidelity.
Okay, yeah. And he brings it up later on. That makes sense, yeah. But I was just, adding to the creepiness. Yeah, you just
that's classic horror movie. You know, that's just classic. You're like watching. That's where you're just listening to the conversation. You're not fully processing it, and your eyes are just at the window the entire time when you're watching the screen. You know, you just care about what James McAvoy hears and what's he gonna do with this information. That's all you're thinking about in that scene. All right, I think we got to get to scores, boys. Right. So scores, Speak No Evil. Guest Scotty Furious. Give us a score for Speak No Evil.
I'm gonna be on the higher end of this. I'm going with 86.
86 from Scotty Furious. Ricky Flex, your score?
76 for me.
Okay. 72 for Dr. O. 72 for Dr. O. That's going to do it for our review of Speak No Evil.